You got it. But I'm happy to tell you exactly where to get it, where to go, what to do. Yeah. And the micro
So let's just move in and let's commune. Let's know why we're here and her soul and her love and good. You did all right.
We're gonna pass that around so everyone can see.
Let's have
That's
you turn face.
okay.
We just need to say the prayer.
Okay.
The Kriya ribbon is symbolic of someone having been cut or torn away from us.
Yeah.
That's why we tear the ribbon. And we always do it standing to show that at difficult times we face things standing up, upright facing difficult times. So if you, I'll do some of the Hebrew you do with me.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Dayan,
Dayan.
Ha'emet. Praised are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, the righteous judge.
Never should have used me. All right.
Does it turn on? Do you want it? Yeah. Yeah.
How you doing, Dave?
Well, good morning, and thank you all for joining us today, where Myrna meant so much to so many of us in different ways and touched our lives in so many different ways. And we're here to say goodbye. Well, unto this sacred place have we come, drawn by the eternal ties that bind our souls to the soul of Myrna. Death has separated us, and you're no longer at our side to share in the beauty of passing moments. We can no longer look to you to lighten our burdens, to lend us your strength, your wisdom, and your faith. And yet what you mean to us will not wither nor fade. For a time we touched hands and hearts, and your voice still abides within us. Still, your tender glance remains a joy to us, for you're a part of us forever. And so beyond the ache that tells us how much we're going to miss you, a deeper thought comes to our minds that we were together. We hold you still in mind to give thanks for life and love, the happiness that was, and the memories that do not fade, for they're a gift that cannot be lost. Continue to bless our days and years, for this will always give you thanks. Well, for thousands of years, the 23rd Psalm, the Psalm of David, has comforted our people as it does again this morning. Mizmor LaDavid Adonai Roi Lo Achsar, Binot Desha Yar Bitzeni El Menuchot Yanchileni. That the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters, as he restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Well, the mysteries of life and death are really beyond human understanding. We're perplexed and overwhelmed with pain and anguish before those whom we love. So in sorrow, confronted by death, which has taken Myrna from our midst, we feel our frailty, and like delicate flowers, we flourish only for a day. Eternal God, shepherd of Israel, guide your flock with love and with compassion. If in our grief and desolation we stray from you, do not ever abandon us, but draw us closer to you. Grant solace and comfort unto all who mourn, and may their lives together help to sustain them and add to the blessing which is theirs in the memory of the life of Myrna. In the valley of the shadow of death, and beside the still waters, in the green pastures, you, O Lord, are our shepherd. Be our strength and our shield, our stay and our comfort through all of our days. Amen. Going to pause for just a moment. We'd like to invite up Lauren and Mimi, David, Robin, who are going to, any of you who would like to be able to say some words now.
Thank you so much for being here, and the energy that Mom put out into the universe is all right here. And even though we launched a couple of rockets this week, they had nothing on my mother. So She was the original source of energy, and it brings back to me always that that is what it is all about in the end. And thank you so much for being here. I know she loved you all, and she would have been running around giving you a big hug right now. So thank you.
So I guess my mother for this crowd would have been a class 4 rapids. And she would have been class 5, except when you're only 5'2". Well, you know, how much could you do? And I'm sure that she's going to love getting to know the Greenbaums and the Shradskys and the Kaplans, even though they're more than 100 years older than she is. Because I don't think age made a difference to her. She was friendly with little kids and all the members of the congregations, and she loved making friends and meeting new people. You know, having all come out of the craziness of COVID. You know, they say when you have kids, you first start to understand your parents, but you really start to understand them when your kids are the same age as they were when they got married. And so I think back to, you know, my mom and dad. You know, it's May of 1956. She's just graduating college, and a year later, she's married, pregnant, and paralyzed from polio. And so you think back on, you know, what are the origins for her, the way she would relate to people, and how much good she wanted to do in the world. And I guess I just keep coming back to that, you know, to have an experience like that at such a young age, and to come out of that so life affirming, and to say, you know, I'm gonna triumph over this, and I'm gonna take that energy and I'm gonna put it out to everybody around me, and I'm gonna help children. We got tons and tons of letters, emails, no letters, who read the letter, but lots of emails and texts from people who said that she just helped a ton of kids who otherwise would be lost. And you know, and not just when she was in New York, when she moved up here and established the school at Benay Vale. And you know, that was just her. That was, you know, and I just feel like that was a decision she made, that my parents made at the time. That was the direction they were going to take this, not some morose, you know, decades-long focus on this. And, you know, unfortunately, that's what caught up to her, but that it never beat her. She beat it. And that's the model for us and our kids, and really for everybody that she met. So thank you for coming and sharing this with us.
We're here as the daughters-in-law to attest to Myrna, and I have to read what I wrote. A little closer. Never in my life have I been told to be louder. But I'm David. I mean, nobody exemplified the will to live more than Myrna K. Sigman. Myrna and Don were part of my world as good friends of my parents for years before I knew David. My mother, Marcia, sends her love and condolences. They were at both my sisters and brothers' weddings. They went to concerts and shows, dinners, even vacations together. And that's how I became friends with Lauren, who gently urged David to come to New York, dressed to her specifications, to take me on a date. We met at the Port Washington train station. Myrna driving him, my mother driving me. We were 26. Our parents actually had dinner together that night, and they told us that they had agreed never to talk about our date. Good parents, great role models. I knew I was in with the Sigmans in many ways, but here's just one standout example. Myrna was making one of David's favorite meals for her beloved boy. Sweet and sour tongue. Not my favorite. Revolting. Yeah. What was I going to do? We were at the table, and Myrna brought out one of my favorites, a toasted bagel with peanut butter and jelly on her best china, with a huge smile. A plus. A plus. Myrna convinced cousin Debbie to let David bring me to London for Jamie's bar mitzvah after only 8 or 9 months of our dating. She laid the groundwork together with Don for a close relationship with David's extended family that continues. She was the best mother-in-law, as Mimi can attest. 31 years of laughing, storytelling, talking, long visits, holiday traditions, some shopping, no meddling. We made things together like a life-size skeleton out of milk jugs. She taught me how to use a glue gun. A good metaphor, I thought, as I was writing that. We decorated cookies till midnight more than once. She designed my engagement ring and wedding band with a local jeweler. The PS on that story is that he based his own fiance's rings on her designs, but then admitted mine were nicer, which they were and are. And as their Ima Myrna, she delighted in Eddie and Sarah and treasured her time with them. She must have spent countless hours scrapbooking amazing photo albums after every visit. We have dozens of them. She was such fun. They loved being with her. She combined her innate ability to connect with children with her absolute joy in everything Eddie and Sarah did to maintain such a strong relationship from Colorado to New York and back again. Myrna was so generous with her time, her love, and herself. I'm so lucky to have you, Don and Myrna.
So I entered the Sigman family late in the game. And so I had some catching up to do. I met Lauren about 7 years ago and rapidly got to know her parents as a couple and as individuals. It was a love fest. They were such lovely, intelligent, engaging people. I had an instant connection with both of them, and I felt so much love and acceptance. They gathered the rest of my family, especially Kate, into the giant group hug. In the relatively short time I had with Myrna, I was able to get to know her. Such wit. She was hilarious, such style. I couldn't believe the outfits. And she always, well, usually always, was 100% appropriate. I was so impressed with all that she had going on at the age of 80. She had various responsibilities on various boards, and all the projects she had, crocheting, fixing friends, knitting problems, the craft projects began to stack up deeper and deeper, with her intentions beginning to outweigh her ability. I never heard her complain about her physical ailments. And if she ever heard me complain about mine, which I did sometimes, she would just say, "Oh, please." And I would feel ridiculous as I contemplated her lifetime of physical issues. She had this ability to read my thoughts, asking questions without being nosy. I lost my mom a couple months after I met the Sigman family, and Myrna helped me navigate the emotional ride. She was a sage advisor, and we often sat around chatting at the sun-soaked kitchen table. It was hot as hell in there. And she would be wearing her fuzzy pink bathrobe and a baseball cap to shade her eyes from the sun while she read the New York Times, like a lizard soaking up the heat. Myrna loved whipped cream and hated rules. She would never take a bowl for her ice cream, preferring instead to dip her spoon into the carton and dig for the good stuff, unapologetically. She was a brilliant, bright light, and I'm so lucky to have had those magic moments with her. I'll always take joy in her memory. Yes.
Myrna was such an important part of our congregation as well. And when we think back years before my coming, I've only been here for 8 years, but when she first came to start the religious school with 6 kids and then say, well, we need a cantor. So all of a sudden Maxine is going to become part of it. And to be co-president immediately of the congregation, we really could use her today. But we have her influence and all the spirit that she left for so many of us. And I know that when I came, I was warned. She's going to be sitting in the front row watching what I was going to be doing. But I also knew that coming from the Reconstructing Judaism movement, that I had enough experience from what I was trained in Minnesota, as well as knowing the founder of the movement as well. And I just said, I'm going to do what we do, which is what we're going to be doing this morning. And there were songs that meant so much to her. And what's part of those are part of our service today. That's why I brought the Torah cover, which you can see with her name on the bottom. And it says, Sinai, that I lift my eyes to the mountains, from where does my help come? It's out every Shabbos. It's up on the mountain with us. And she's always a part of us. So we're going to take a moment. It's Psalm 121. The cantor will sing for us, Sinai, one of Myrna's favorites.
Sinai, El Harim, Sinai, El Harim, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri. Where will my help come from? Where will my help come from? My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. Sinai, El Harim, Sinai, El Harim, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Ezri. Where will my help come from? Where will my help come from? My help will come from the one, maker of heaven and earth. My help will come from the one, maker of heaven and earth.
One of the highlights of the High Holy Days was having Myrna do the Haftorah for us. And during COVID, we were recording everyone. So my wife and I drove here and went to their apartment and came down below we needed her recording because she would do the English part. Nikki does the Hebrew part for years and years and years. And we still have that, which is pretty amazing. Her intro to what she was going to do before she did it was longer than what she did. But it's still a great recording of her. And just wherever we were, she was able to do that. It was really a very special time and so important to the congregation. Well, when we think about where we remember her, it isn't really here, but it's on top of the mountain in so many different places. And there's the wonderful reading that was actually written by one of the rabbis, one of my colleagues in Minneapolis, where he wrote, "At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we'll remember her. At the blowing of the wind and the chill of the winter frost, we're going to remember her. The opening of the buds and the rebirth of spring, the blueness of the skies and the warmth of summer, we'll remember her. At the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, the beginning of the year and when it ends, we're going to remember Myrna. As long as we live, she'll live too, because she's a part of us, as we always remember her." Don, did you want to take a moment now?
Well, I have stories too. I'll be brief as I can be. I'm not known for being brief. But Myrna and I were in love together. We had 6 dates in the days of the 50s when things were very formal. You called on a Monday for a Friday or Saturday date. I called. We met, actually. We met with different dates at the time. And I didn't want to bird dog my friend who was dating Myrna. To make a long story short, I finally was given permission to call Myrna 4 or 5 or 6 months later. I was much too, what's the word? I was much too respectful of my friend. I called Myrna and I was able to get on a Monday night. That's when you call for a date. And Myrna, and I said that I knew that Myrna wanted me to call. Because there was a friend from Colombia and all of that. So I called Myrna and I got on the phone with Myrna and said, "Hello, Myrna, this is Don." And Myrna said, "Don who?" Knowing, it turned out, that every Monday when people would call for a date, every Monday, Myrna would ask her mother or her grandmother, did someone by the name of Don call? Don who? That humor, that love, ultimately, we dated 5 weekends and got engaged. Married now for 65 years. It was wonderful. Wonderful children, wonderful family, wonderful friends, both New York and Vale, Edwards. So with that love that she gave, I'm passing it and giving it to you as well. You're all, it's my expression, you're all good buddies. So thank you. We love you, and thank you for coming and being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. Thanks, Tim.
We're going to rise for the Almale, the memorial prayer.
תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קרשים וטהרים, כזר הרקיע, מזהירים את נשמת מרים מלכה בת חיים וגילו של הלכה לעלמה. בגן עדן תהה מנוחתנה, בעל הרחמים, הסתיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים. ויצרור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, והנוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן.
O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Miriam Malka, Bat Chaim Vagila, and to Myrna, who's gone to her eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds that she performed in the land of the living. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life, for the Lord is her portion as she rest in peace. Almighty God, Master of mercy, healer of the brokenhearted, let neither death nor sorrow have dominion over us, but grant comfort, strength, and consolation to those who mourn the loss of Myrna. May they always cherish what's imperishable in her life. Bless this family and all of our friends with love and peace, that they may serve you with all their heart. And may the memory of Myrna inspire all of us to deeds of loving kindness. We join together now in Kaddish. Yitzgadal, Yitzgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalmad, Yivrak, Yiruteh, Yamlik Malchuteh, B'chaye Chon, Yomei Chon, B'chaye Dekol Beit Yisrael, B'agalav Izman Karivim Ramein, Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Omeo Maya, Yitvarach, Yishtabach, Yitvar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shemei Kudishav, B'riku, Le'elam Min Kol, Birchata, Neshirata, Tushvachata, Nechemata, Dahiran Yamav, Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, B'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'Ramein, Oseh Shalom V'Rama, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'Ramein. We read from the book of Isaiah that a voice says, cry out, and I say, what shall I cry? For all flesh is grass, and all its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades when the wind of the Lord blows upon it. For surely people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God shall endure forever. Atzur ta'amim pa'alo kiko d'rachav nishmat, el emunah v'ein avel, tzadik v'yasher hu. Adonai natan v'Adonai lekach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. Urachum yechaper avon v'lo yashchit v'dervalashit apo v'lo ya'ir kol chamato. Eternal God, our Creator, with the gift of your Spirit we're formed. You take in return what we are dust. We're grateful for the many blessings in the life of Myrna. Bowed by grief because of their loss, her mourners now turn to you, seeking comfort and light. Dear God, grant them solace and strength and reinforce their faith, for you are our rock and our Redeemer. Adonai natan v'Adonai lekach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. For the Lord has given unto us the soul of Myrna. The Lord has now taken her away. Praise the name of God. family would like to come.
יש כוכבים שאורם הגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עטו בעיניו. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורותי להמבהיקים, רק השמות חיים, הם שמרים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמרים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light. Long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember, we remember. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember, we remember.
Thank you. The beautiful song of Yesh Kochavim talks about how when we now see the stars, we know that Myrna is looking down upon all of us. The reason we weren't able to invite everyone up to participate in shoveling of some earth is because there's a limited amount of space for the vault to be able to close over. So we always invite the immediate family to participate. The sun shall no longer be your light by day, nor brightness of moon by night, but eternal God shall be your everlasting light, and your God your glory. Your sun shall no longer go down, nor the moon withdraw itself, for God shall be your everlasting light, and your days of mourning will come to an end. Adonai Osli Amo Yitain Adonai V'Refetz Amo V'Shalom is the Lord who gives strength to his people. Bless all peoples with peace. Amen. The family will be sitting Shiva on Saturday night. Unusual circumstances, but it's all by Zoom. So you just have to go to our site. It's michelle'szoom.com, and she'll be moderating. We invite everyone to come on, and it'll be at 6:30 on Saturday night. And you'll have a chance afterwards to also visit with people from all over the country. So we thank you all for coming. And again, our serious condolences of how much we're going to miss her. And thank you for being here.
Hey, I saw you on TV too. For a holiday.
Right.
For the sugar?
Yeah.
No, the sugar will be salted.
Okay.
Because after the exit, I'm going to
Oh, okay.
So early to make sure that, yeah, you can see,
Sure.
oh,
Like,
I just like 15 minutes.
so I'll open it.
Have the child ready.
I'll open it.
Thank you.
Just nobody.
Just in case.